Hello, hello. Good afternoon. Good day. I hope I'm live. I seem to be live. I hope everybody can hear me. A beautiful Thursday in January in 2022. We had a little easier time this time going live. Thanks to our sponsors at Media Zeus. And my technical ability. Can't let any time for dead air go. I'm going to see if there are anybody joining us. I'm going to give us a few minutes. So I do appreciate you coming out. We are talking about real estate investing questions answered. I've got probably a dozen questions that are asked of us a lot. The most general questions, and I've got them written here and be glad to answer them all. If anybody else has anything they want to ask, certainly let us know. Oh, good. I just got a note that we look good and sound good. Sounds good. All right, cool. So we're going to get started here in a little bit. We just started streaming less than a minute ago, so I'm going to give it a few minutes. I will minimize that there. Okay, so again, brought to you by our friends. Got to turn my phone off, guys. Sorry about that. Our friends at Media Zeus. And also sponsored by North Star Mortgage. I want to thank them. And of course, can't be live, can't be streaming, and can't have a wonderful, successful channel without the Gregory Martyr team. Brokered by Springer Realty Group. We do put out a lot of epic content here every week. We do answer all communication. We're happy to help, glad to do it. If you're thinking of buying or selling anywhere really in the world, we can help. We are licensed here in the Philadelphia area. We got you covered in New Jersey too. We help a lot of normal people, as I call them, but also a lot of investors, and that's what we're talking about today. Also going to do a series of videos on investing. So I'm just going to wait another maybe 1 or 2 minutes and then just get rolling along here. I do want to thank the International Dad Joke Society also for being one of our sponsors here today. I hope nobody dislikes a cheesy dad joke. I hope everybody likes a dad joke like I do. So which days of the week are the strongest? Which days of the week are the strongest? Well, of course, it's Saturday and Sunday because the rest of the days are weekdays. Okay. Hopefully not everybody shuts off the video after hearing that joke. I don't know where that drum roll, that where that sound is, but promise not to inundate you more with dad jokes. So anyhow, give it about another minute, but we are talking about real estate investing, and I do have a bunch of stuff I'd like to go over. I do have a top several questions that everybody asks. And the biggest first question probably that I get the most is how do I get good deals? So we're going to start with that. Is where do you find the good deals? How do I get a good deal? And of course, I've got a several part response to that question. How do I get good deals? Of course, you have to call me and that's it. Don't do anything else. Just give me a call and we'll get you the good deals. We do have a very helpful guide here. It is a home buying guide or before you buy. So it's geared towards buyers. It's not necessarily 100% geared towards investors, but it's going to be helpful, especially if you have no knowledge or a lot of knowledge of real estate. You can always learn something. So, all right, let's get started. So how do I get the good deals? Let me make sure. I'm sorry, one moment that I can see the chat coming. Oh, yeah, I can see it. Live chat. Make sure I'm not missing anybody chatting. Oh, there's primary. Hello, primary. Cool. Okay, I'm not missing anybody. Hello and hello. All right, so let's talk about real estate investing, and this could be, again, generally used anywhere in the world and the country, but we'll talk about Philadelphia as well and get specific there. So the first question I always get asked, or the question I get asked the most, is how do I find the good deals? So of course, you got to call me. All right, next question. So not necessarily, but you definitely need a realtor, in my opinion, because we have access to the MLS and pretty much every website out there. I mean, there are hundreds of thousands of real estate websites. They all start with the MLS. Well, I should say all the houses that are on those sites are from the MLS. That's not to say only those houses that you see there are from the MLS, but it's definitely a great place to start. And we have access to the MLS. Multiple listing service has access to real estate foreclosures, REO, real estate owned, short sales. We have a whole distressed section. We also have a properties that are owner financing or owners willing to hold financing or take some financing and in that distressed level. What up is right. Hello, N. Dexter. Welcome, welcome. We're talking about how to get good deals. So how else do you get other good deals? I mean, I hate to admit it. No, I love to admit it because I want to give good information, but other websites, people that aren't realtors necessarily. There are a lot of wholesalers in our area. There are a lot of wholesalers in the world. Those are a great place to get good deals. Directly from the banks are a great place to get good deals. Call the banks and you call usually their REO, their real estate owned area. Could be the foreclosure department, also could be the short sale department. They may call it a disposition or distressed area as well, but the banks are definitely a great spot. Title companies can certainly help. Boots on the street is probably the most popular and the most effective. Just being out there, knocking on doors, looking for an ugly house, let's say, or a house that you want to buy. Doesn't have to be ugly, maybe looking in an area, literally, physically, on the street, in your boots. You don't have to be wearing boots. This time of year, you should, and knocking on doors. So be in it. There are tons of social media outlets. There are tons of Facebook groups and a lot of streaming channels, Instagram, TikTok, and so forth that have how to get good deals. The key to it isn't necessarily to say, well, I found a good deal, now let's make an offer. It's make a lot of offers. Create the good deal. Look at places that have been on the market for more than 60 days. You don't even look at something that's been up 3 or 4 or 5 days. Look at something that's been listed longer. Create a deal, but make a lot of offers. That's how the best deals are made. Most of the investors we work with have success by making a lot of offers. And then when I say making a lot of offers, on average, 60 per month. I mean, literally 2 per day. I was just running some metrics. I'm not a big numbers guy, but you have to understand, some metrics. And we have made for our customers in the last couple of weeks more than 35 offers. We have had more than 6 be accepted. It might be 7 or 8 at this point, and it better be 9 by the end of this video. But if you're catching my math, it's just like anything else. The time you put in, the time you get out. So how do I get a good deal? Create it. And I don't mean try to force somebody to sell their house at a discount, but make a lot of offers and make ridiculous offers. I'm not saying go make the beautiful mansion that's beautifully priced and wonderfully fixed up and try to offer half to that. That's not necessarily going to work, but make a lot of offers and you absolutely can't go wrong. That is the best way to get good deals, is have a solid real estate professional, to be on the street, boots on the street, looking with your own eyes, kind of knocking on doors, calling banks, using wholesalers, and any other kind of local real estate investment clubs. If anybody has any more specific questions on that, there are a ton of websites that you can go on and buy foreclosure lists. I'm not saying not to do it, but there are some that are better than others. I have a couple of I could probably recommend to you, but the MLS is free to you. I mean, I pay for that, so I would definitely start with that. Start with free before you start paying for something. Sites like Craigslist still work very well, and Zillow, also Realtor.com. There are other auction websites as well. Auction.com is one. Hubzoo is another. Hubzoo. And realtors' websites. Now, you should not be on anybody's website but mine. But if you must, they usually do have a section for REOs or distressed properties. All right, so that's how to get the good deals. So the next question I have, and in order of how many times do we get it asked, where are the next booming areas? Where's the next area to invest in? What's the next fish town, or what's the next brewery town, or how that. So I can confidently say, when you start hearing about an area, you've missed the boom. I'm not saying it's too late. I'm just saying the boom is created out of nothing, essentially. So to see the very early signs of a booming area is watch the news. But when you see it on the news, it's a little bit too late, but they'll start talking about it. When you hear about it often enough, okay, now it's time. You also want to know where big money is going. Big money being, there are a lot of REITs, R-E-I-T, REITs, real estate investment trusts, mutual funds, hedge funds type groups, financial companies. Where is big money? Meaning, where is a lot of money being put into? It's always happening in Center City, so that doesn't necessarily count, but Center City is always booming. But when you start hearing about it, not necessarily on the news, but you start hearing about it in the realm of real estate between investors, fellow investors, realtors, you hear about it on the news, you read about it, and if it was on the internet, it must be true, because it must be true. And so at that moment, it's not too late, because if you start questioning, is it too late? No, it's not. Now, if it's been years and you've seen the prices go up more than 50%, it's definitely too late. But it's still a great area to invest in, because you're going to be guaranteed the area is going to go up. Now, at what point do you say, well, when should I not invest? If it's up more than 40%, I would still say it's okay. When it hits 50% higher than it was, whenever that might be, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 5 minutes ago, last week, then it may be time to understand that you still will get a larger, you still will have instant equity, and you still will have equity growth, but you may have missed the boom. So what are the next booming areas right now? What's booming? And I have a question. I promise I'm going to answer that question. But I want to say what's booming, because I did say I will say it. And here it comes. So Devil's Pocket, that's number one. And it's not in any particular order. They're actually all kind of within the same realm there. Forgotten Bottom is another one. Now, it's funny to say Devil's Pocket and Forgotten Bottom. They sound like terrible areas. Like, why would I want to go to Devil's Pocket or Forgotten Bottom? But I promise you, these are currently booming areas. So can you go in and steal a house there? Probably not. But can you get a really good deal on something? Yes. Has the rest of the neighborhood turned? No. This is the time to do it. Now, what was the telltale sign? Like, why did this start booming? You can't really say. There is a push from, let's say, Newbold, from I guess we would say from east of Forgotten Bottom and Devil's Pocket. There's a push westward. All those areas have boomed and are nice areas, so that's probably part of it. Forgotten Bottom is, I don't know if it's finished yet, so don't quote me on this and don't hurt me about it if I happen to say I made a mistake. There is a walking bridge. They're making it more friendly for walkers, a walking bridge. There's also a really sweet spot. I mean, you're right on the river there. You can actually go fishing there. So it's a really good area. It's a quiet area. These are all, why did they pick it? I don't know, but it's that westward expansion. I'll make it official. Now, the other side of the river is King Sessing. Now, this is my speculative quote, I'll say. I'm being very speculative, but I'm seeing activity being pushed to the other side of the river. It's not one of the booming areas right now, but right now, mid-boom is Forgotten Bottom and Devil's Pocket. Now, from there, I can tell you big money is in Strawberry Mansion, and they're in those other two areas I mentioned. Anywhere South Philadelphia, there's big money there. I say big money, it doesn't necessarily have to be a REIT, or it's just a lot of money being inserted into these areas. Certainly parts of West Philadelphia as well, Fairmount, Girard, kind of. Let me answer this question here. What is the average price for a townhouse with a rooftop? Oh, hello, Fitness Health, by the by. Hello, welcome, and thank you for coming. That's a great question. What is the average price of a townhouse with a rooftop anywhere below or south of Girard, close to Broad? Oh boy, $500,000. I mean, that's my honest guess. I'm sure I could find you something better, but if you're going to be close to Broad and have the rooftop, you're most likely going to have a very good. Now you might be able to get a condo where you're on the third floor and you have a rooftop. You did say townhouse, but I'm kind of, going beyond that a little bit. In that $300,000 range, I don't think we could get you this anywhere less than that, honestly, maybe. But I'm gonna answer that officially with that. I can certainly get you a list if you want to shoot me a text, or you could send me an email. I'll put my email address in here. This way it'll remind me, or, I can send it to you, or you can check out our website. You could search there, but that's my official answer. Average price. Yep. And that would be something, really nice as well. So hopefully that helps. I hope that answers. And thank you so much for asking. And welcome to the live stream. So we're talking about booming areas, and we talked about how to get good deals. As far as places, you're welcome. My pleasure. Absolutely. As far as places like Fishtown, Brewery Town, Queen Village, places that we've already heard of. Yeah. I mean, you absolutely should and can still invest there, and you will not have a problem. You will always have great tenants. Those areas are continually improving. So another way to tell is the area booming? We'll keep using that term. There's various forms of booming. Gentrification is one, but that's just one. Tax breaks is another. Call the tax assessment office and ask them, where are the tax breaks? Where they are, that's a booming area. And that's going to be maybe a possibly next booming area. Now, everybody, I hear a lot. And last week, actually, we talked about Kensington is being, it's going to have its time to boom. And it's not a booming area officially by my standard at this moment, but it certainly has a place for that. So, okay, we talked boom. Fishtown, Brewery Town. Again, Queen Village, you're absolutely going to have a higher value. You're absolutely going to be guaranteed. And I say guaranteed by me, 2% a year in those areas as far as raising values. The National Association of Realtors is speculating a 25% increase over the next 5 years, generally speaking, in the marketplace. So can't go wrong there. So what are the next booming areas? We talked about that. Kind of the opposite side of that, which I always talk about as booming, is solid areas. Like what area will not crash or may boom, or let's not say boom, let's just say solid. South Philly all day long. South Philadelphia, Bella Vista, anywhere. I mean, really anywhere south, can't go wrong. Manayunk's great. So is just outside of the city, Conshohocken, but you got Manayunk, Roxborough, phenomenal areas, solid. So how do I get financing? That's another big question. And financing can come in many forms. Certainly, if you have a great real estate professional, you should lean on them. Our friends at North Star Mortgage have some excellent financing options. Now they're brokers, and I'm explaining that because I always say let's work with a broker first, because the brokers, the mortgage brokers, have access to hundreds of banks with hundreds of different programs, and they actually get paid by the end lender to get you the loan. So it really behooves them to find you what you want. Rule of thumb right now, as we speak, January 20th, 2022, you do need at least 20% down. Now there is 15% down money. And if it's a multiple unit building, you're going to pay a couple of points. And this is just everywhere. Now, the rates might be jacked up higher and you may not have to pay the points. And a point is 1% of the loan. So it's relative. Don't hold me to that. Oh, I found a place that doesn't charge points. Well, what's the rate? Today's rate is probably just around 5%, honestly. The rates are going up, as if you've heard. Every time somebody sneezes, the rates go up, but they're fluctuating a bit, but they're always about a point higher than the regular rates because you're an investor. Now, if you do want a second home, we can get you a 10% down money. Similar rate, a little bit higher, is a second home. You do have to live there, or plan to live there anyway as a second property, like a vacation home, if you will. So you could buy a vacation home in Philadelphia and then rent it out, part of the time as well. People talk about financing for Airbnb. It's the same thing. If you're planning on not living there for more than 8 months of the year, it's a rental property. I mean, you have to tell it what it is. If you travel for work, it's and it is a felony to participate in mortgage fraud. So they skip right over misdemeanor. There's no slaps on the wrist. It's a big deal. There are the whole divisions of the FBI for this. So, but how do I get financing is pretty easy. Now, if you're in a commercial realm, if you're in a multi-unit scenario, maybe you want to buy in an LLC, there are some other commercial type products. There are, our friends at North Star can turn us on to a broker. I have some other brokers for that as well. Local banks are excellent for that, especially right in the neighborhood. They want to invest in the area. They're familiar with the area, and they're great. You're probably looking at 25 to 35% down there if you're buying in an LLC. Again, these are rules of thumb. You're going to have a point or two for fees, and then your regular closing costs. Also, you can get partners. You can ask around. You could pool your money together. You could be 20, 30. There's no limit on how many of you could put money into the transaction to buy real estate. I see that happen a lot. You could use credit cards. You could use personal loans. Again, it's all relative to the loan to value ratio and also to your debt to income ratio. So just be careful if you're doing that. But I know investors that have bought properties on credit, 100% credit. So you hear this, how do I get a house for 100% financing? Well, if it's your credit you're using, you could have a personal loan or maybe an equity loan on another property. Or if you have no property at all, you literally get a signature loan. You get a personal loan. You take the personal loan, you use it as your down payment, and then you borrow the rest of the money from a bank, from a mortgage broker, let's say. Now, it's not as easy as I make it sound. And certainly you see a lot of real estate education that makes it sound easy. And it is pretty easy, and it is theoretically exactly what I just said. Sometimes it's a little more complicated, but that's pretty much how 100% financing works. Now, there is owner financing available too, where we ask the seller to hold the note. The seller becomes the bank. We give them a down payment or no payment at all. We continue to make payments directly to the seller. Some sellers will do that. Also, some sellers will allow you to take over their payments, take over their mortgage, subject to, if you will. So certainly happens. Private money is available, hard money. There are private lenders at a higher rate, which may be not as strict as some of the banks, some of the lenders out there. And that would work as well. If the lender's rate today is 4.5 to 5.5, these hard money or private financiers are going to be 6.5 to 12.5 all day long, probably more like that 7-8 range, 8-9 range. Again, if the numbers work, the numbers work. If they don't, they don't. Any questions, please feel free. Let me make sure I'm not missing something. Okay, nope, looks like I'm caught up. So another question that is asked of us greatly is how much money do I need? So I did talk a little bit about that with financing, but the best rule of thumb is 20% down. I advise 25%. You usually get a better rate, and they just treat you a little better. No offense, you 20%ers. If you have 20% down, it's great. I mean, let's go shopping. You are allowed to have a 2% seller's assist. So that's pretty good. The seller can give you 2% of the price of the house, up to $2,000 on a $100,000 house. If you could do the math, save you a little bit of cash. So how much money do you need? At least 25% down. Plus you're going to need closing costs, which are going to be, now in our fair city, love you, hate you, hug you, Philadelphia, the transfer tax is more than 2%. So you're going to have 2% to the bank, again, 2 points, rule of thumb. And then you'll have escrow, where you may not have to escrow as per the bank, but I always advise you do that. Unless you want to pay it yourself, it's fine. But you will need to pay the taxes and your insurance at settlement, at least to bring it current. So how much is that more? Another 6 or 8%. So if you have, what is that math? 32% total the price of the house, we're in business. So my official answer today is 30 to 35% in cash. Doesn't literally have to be a bag of money. If you do have a bag of money, though, you could certainly just send it my way. But literally $30,000 or $35,000 to buy a to enable yourself to put 25% down, and then closing costs. Now, again, we could work with 20% down, and you only need about maybe 4 or 5% for closing costs, because you can get a seller's assist there. It does happen. It does happen often. So how much money do I need? Now, if we're talking in the realm of a $300,000 house, these prices could go up very quickly. But it's all about ROI, right? Return on investment. So what exactly are you looking for is more important than how much do I need, in my opinion, or, oh, that costs too much. It's not necessarily how, it's not, can I afford it? It's how can I afford it? I got a question here, fitness health. If buying cash, what percent will you offer off listing price? Oh, if you're paying cash, and well, it depends, and respectfully. So I wouldn't do, apologies, my phone was, I thought I had it shut off. 10% is my official answer. 20% isn't unheard of. I wouldn't do 50% because there's a lot of cash buyers, and it's not necessarily cash like bag of money. It could be a line of credit. It could be pooling of monies. It could be hedge funds. So there's a ton of cash buyers in the investment realm. So I would say 10%, but also, and that's why I say it depends. 10 to 15% is the norm, maybe 20. Now, if the place is distressed and it's a disaster, we're talking about a different thing here. I've had people offer 50%, but I've also had people offer double of what the asking price is. So I'm not trying to skirt around the answer. Hopefully that's it. But rule of thumb, 15% off, 10% off. But if it's a great area and a great deal, I would give them full asking price, or even a premium if the numbers work. I'm not saying lose your money or get into a bad deal. It's all numbers, and try not to fall in love with the place. So where do I get? Okay, this is great. This is the next question I wrote. So all of us investors want cash flow, right? That's the big term, the coined term, cash flow. But we also want future value. So where am I going to get into a house where I get tons of cash flow, and next year it's going to go up in value 10, 20%? I have yet to found it. Now, I've been looking for this since 1998, so it hasn't been that long, but I promise you, unless you get lucky, it's impossible to time the market. But if you start to hear about an area that's booming, like I just told you, yeah, get in now. Don't hesitate and do it. If you're up 50% in value, it's too late, but you should still invest there. So there is nowhere to get tons of cash flow and great future value. Going to be guaranteed at least 2% a year. 2 to 3% is the average. Could be as much as 5%. And you may get lucky, or you may have timed the market okay, but I don't know of any area in the entire world, country, anywhere, where you can get super cash flow and excellent future value, where it's going to go up like gangbusters. Now, I may be wrong, and I would love to hear your comments, and anybody watching the video after the stream, please prove me wrong. Please tell me, because here, take my money. Take my money. There is a nice blend of areas like I keep saying South Philadelphia, great cash flow, great future value. You're going to be strategically coming up in value. Strategically coming up in value in that area. Same thing as Manayunk, also Roxborough. The far northeast for sure, Philadelphia. I mean, Center City, no doubt. Places like Old City and Bella Vista, Queen Village, where they're super expensive to invest in, and relatively speaking, but they've got great ROI and super future value. One of my favorite areas is Temple University area. Now it's a very quote unquote bad area. I mean, you go look at a crime map, it's a terrible area. Crime wise, now I'm not allowed to say what's a terrible area. Officially, state of Pennsylvania, if you're watching and monitoring my my real estate license, talking specifically about crime, but that area has boomed and it continually goes up. Give you an idea, an average triplex price is probably 300,000 to 400,000. Where it was not quite that as much 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and will likely go up higher and consistently over the next 10 or 20 years. Yes, underdeveloped. Hello, DT Han. Yes, sir. Certainly earlier in the video I mentioned, and some underdeveloped upcoming areas, no doubt. My opinion is King Sessing. I'm starting to see signs of that. But right now, at this moment, is Forgotten Bottom, Devil's Pocket. Excuse me, Strawberry Mansion is a big area for REITs right now, real estate investment trusts. Big money is there. Underdeveloped there, upcoming areas. Now, I am if you've seen any of my videos, I'm very partial to Bridesburg. So out that way, Bridesburg isn't necessarily underdeveloped, but the areas around there. And any area on the outskirts of those already boomed areas. I mean, we're booming into Forgotten Bottom now because, in my opinion, the westward movement here, the westward movement of development. So in the next 15 years, certainly West Philadelphia will come along, and the greater Northeast, absolutely. Parts of Kensington, and I keep saying it now, I've been hearing this for 22 years, so don't hold me to it for the next 15 years, but there are obviously those extreme places in Kensington, but Kensington gets a bad name because of those extremes, because of the problems they have. So underdeveloped, booming, again, King Sessing, and immediate buys, Forgotten Bottom. I also like Germantown for a lot of reasons. It is not quite developed, and it's been moving and gentrifying for the last several years. So it's a great area, in my opinion, to get into now. So where do I get cash flow and future value? I say it's impossible, but it's close to being impossible. So you gotta kind of pick one, but if you wanted to get a blend, you would be in that South Philadelphia area. You want to get cash flow, it's the lower income areas, the lower income housing. It's the lower priced housing. Great cash flow in that $50,000, $60,000 range into $150,000 range. There was a duplex we just helped somebody buy, 2 units, 2 one-bedroom units, for $100,000. They were asking 99. We got it under contract for 88, and the numbers are beautiful on it. The rents were coming in, or actually the place was vacant, but the rents will come in between $1,400 and $1,500. Their entire payment with debt service and all of their fees and the entire debt service on the property would be around $1,100. So it's going to clear $300 to $500 every month after everything is paid for. That includes the property manager, the vacancy rate. Now, this is assuming everybody stays and pays the entire time. Oh, yes, sir. Yes, I was saying, sir. I don't want to assume. Thank you, DT Han. And oh, I appreciate you saying that very much. It's a lot of resource and a lot of time. It's a lot of fun though, and I'm glad to hear you say that. I appreciate you saying that. And it's our pleasure, absolutely. Yeah, 52nd and Chestnut. Let me look at a map here, if you don't mind. I hope I'm not going to cause too much. I want to see because I'm hearing about um, that general area. Let me just pull up 52nd and Chestnut, and I can give you a Chestnut Street. I hope I'm not leaving any dead air. I'm going to do 5200 Chestnut. So let's see what comes up here. 19139. Yeah, I mean, I did mention West Philadelphia. So let me just zoom out a little bit and see how far. Okay, Cobb's Creek was like I was hesitant to say. Okay, this is a great spot because I mentioned. Let me come back to my screen here. So I just wanted to get an idea of exactly where we were. Oops, here we come. So I can see the questions. So this is a great, perfect example of University City, which is another excellent area to invest in that I like, one of my favorite areas as well. For investors generally coming just from anywhere, prices are higher, but this is westward expansion. So yes is my fast answer. Now Cobb's Creek has kind of been that, which is kind of where you're saying we're kind of in between excuse me, University City and Cobb's Creek is where you're describing. I'm thinking 52nd and Chestnut. I like West Philadelphia, generally speaking, yes, for underdevelopment. And will it go up in the next 15 years? Yes. We did a video, and I'm trying to think of the name, but what has happened over the last 10 years? And it was pretty telling, even in the most distressed areas. Values have come up even ×2 and ×3 and ×4 in some of these distressed areas. And I'm not saying 52nd and Chestnut is distressed. I'm just giving an example that video popped in my head. So it was about future value, the video. So again, I was mentioning that duplex we talked about. Now another example on the other side of things, not a duplex, 2-unit was 88,000. Did need a little work, needed some painting, and I mean, it sounds like the classic only needs a little work. My opinion, it needed 2 new kitchens. Now the kitchens are small, so they could get them done for under 10,000 total. I mean, very small, just a 1-bedroom apartment, very nice. Great little spot on great spot in like a very middle grade neighborhood, middle grade on crime, great location. So just a good thing. Now, every day we scour the MLS. I mean, there might be 30 or 40 places that come up for investment properties, whether they're multi-units or single families. And honestly, half of them are junk. I mean, we throw them away. Like this is crazy. I mean, I hope they get these numbers and God bless them, but it's not a deal or worth investigating further. So from the 10 or so or 15 or so that are left each day, we are able to scrub those in half, again, based on the numbers. The numbers work. Okay, let's investigate. And more than half of those are junk as well, as we call them. I won't say junk, but not worth our time. So we were left with maybe 5, sometimes 1, sometimes 0. And but a couple a day on average come up that are definitely worth your time, energy, effort, and money. So if you wanted to scrub the list, get on our scrub list, hit me up. I did put my email there. I'll just put you can text me, which is all on our videos too, but there's my text number. Text. You can text me there. Just send me your email. I'll get you on our list. So the other side of great investment prices, that $300,000 to $500,000 range brings in a lot of good money. Now I've just skipped over. Wow, you started at 88. Now you've got charging me 300,000, but that puts you in this Temple University, puts you in the Manayunks, it puts you in university cities, and your cash flow could be near $1,000 a month there. Now it's big money. It's 400,000 for a triplex. There's a 6-unit building, 2 triplexes connected, but next literally connected. They're twins, but for 815. Now they just reduced the price. I think they're at 790 or 785. You're in the range of being a great deal. I mean, the cash flows at 815, around $900 a month. This is again assuming 25% down. So if you have about 165,000 to invest, it's a great deal. I mean, universities are great. Now there's a whole video series coming out that I'm working on because this is just a super huge topic for everybody that's investing. And it's going to cover as much as I can think of to cover. And if you have some comments about it, hit me up, comment right now, or when you're watching this video, those of you who are checking it out post stream, let me know what you'd like to see. But so in that $300,000 to $500,000 range, great cash flows. There is some good spots in that 260, 270 range as well. A lot of them are priced a little too high, in my opinion. We want to make money every month, and we don't want to be behind the ball. And of course, we want the sellers to make money when they sell, but it's just good for neighborhood values. So there is not a ton in that $100,000 to $200,000 range. Now 175s and sometimes 150s and 60s. Not a lot. Now you can get a lot of great single homes for that price point, definitely. And I can get you a list, like I said. So future value, yeah, on the outskirts of these boomed areas, outskirts of Fishtown, outskirts of Brewery Town, outskirts of Forgotten Bottom. You're in the, that Newbold area. You're in the South Philly. You're in it to win it there. Definitely future value as well. New construction can never go wrong. You get the tax abatement. You definitely got to hold your value for more than 10 years longer. Let me say it this way. Your new construction will hold its value for 10 years, where something that was rehab necessarily may not hold it as long. It's kind of an example, but new construction, it's definitely a great spot to invest in. Zero problems for however long it might be as far as maintenance issues. So our next topic here that is highly questioned is fixing and flipping. We want to flip houses, and it's great. And there are a lot of deals to be had, and kind of goes back to how to get a good deal, which was our first question. But fix and flips happens a lot. This is where you do definitely need to make a lot of offers, and you need to be ready to pounce. You need to be ready to make your offers. We need our financing in order, and I can help you with financing. Our friends at North Star can. We've got also a lot of hard money lenders that can help, or rehab financing, or if you're familiar with the BRRRR method, BRRRR. I think it's 4 R's, or maybe it's 3, but love that BRRRR method. Personally, I'm partial to a property that's turnkey. I would even advise, or I'll even pay a premium for something that's turnkey, ready to go. I'm not saying overpay, but if the numbers work, they work, and it's already in good shape. Why reinvent the wheel? The BRRRR method enables you to buy something, fix it up, refinance it, and then you're in equity immediately, and you're getting money every month. So the fix and flips are highly advertised. They are in high demand, and you have to just jump and go. I could send you a list of those distressed properties. When you see them come up, you offer right away, and you need to offer accordingly, and you need to have your ducks in a row. The finding the deal isn't the problem. The contractor, that's the biggest challenge. I've got some great contractors. I mean, really, of all levels. You want luxury, or you want the professional handyman, and then laborers as well, subcontractors too. You want just an electrician. We've got access to that, but the contractor, the work, the amount of time, and the amount of cost. Forgive me, my camera's shaking. I get excited. The contractor is the key, the make or break of this deal. So I'm not trying to downplay, we can get you the house, but you need to have the contractor, and you need to know how much it's going to cost you to fix it. I can certainly help with that. I can give you an idea. I can give you my opinion. I can certainly help you get pricing, but you really need to have a relationship with a solid contractor, and more than one. And I'm not saying play or pit one against the other, but life happens. We're all human. They get busy, they get behind. So that's really the key to the fix and flips is the contractor, in my opinion. The faster they get it done, the more efficient they get it done, and it has to be done right, the quicker you can get it on the market. So that's the key to fix and flips. Finding the deals is easy, and getting the money for a good deal is pretty easy too. I say that because if you have a good deal, the money will come to you. I mean, who wouldn't want to invest in a good deal? I mean, that's simple. Who's going to do the work, and how are they going to perform, and are they going to hold to what they said? That's critical. And like I said, we've got some great resources. I even have a naughty list. So I have the good people to call, but I also have the who not to call list. If you want to see that, send me the name of your contract. I'll let you know which list they're on. And I could be wrong. And I'm always looking for some great resources. So if you have somebody and you're willing to share, please do. That would be fixing and flipping. When you're flipping and fixing, you want to not cut corners. You want to go the extra mile. You want to put that roof deck on, or at least have the permit. Aha, Mr. Wright, Jim Wright. Yes, sir. Permits, permits, permits. Thank you very much. There's something to be said about having a permit pulled for a roof deck versus you could put a roof deck here. That's certainly something, and having the plans drawn. And everything being permitted is certainly, that's a great comment. I appreciate you commenting that. Our wonderful city has an L&I department, and they actually have a very robust website to see if there's any violations. And yeah, permits is one of them. It's probably one of the biggest issues with contractors, that they're not pulling the permit, or what permit they pulled isn't for the work they're doing. Hello, Rajit. Very nice to see you, sir. Thank you for coming here. Pardon me. Well, I did bring my water today. Last week, I realized I kept talking and talking and talking. Oh, no, don't be sorry. I think it's a great comment. I'm glad you mentioned it. And having a building inspector is, I think, super critical. It's too often that you get a great deal and then they do a shoddy job. I'm not blaming the contractor. It's everybody involved. It's the investor saying, it's okay, let's skip that. Let's cut that corner. And now the end buyer, who I'm dealing with as well, or maybe trying to help you sell it, just makes it very difficult to do business. Excuse me. And you will get a bad name pretty quickly. It's a big city, but a small world. How do they say that? And it's very important to do things right there, for many reasons. Plus, you want to finish that basement. I mean, and you do it right, that's going to sell the place much, much quicker. It's ideal to try not, you don't want to make a mint on every single transaction. Think about the next transaction. But I do want you to make a mint. I hope you do. What are we going to do? Oh, yes. Oh, hello. Oh, yes, sir. Okay. Sorry, I was taken back a minute. Yes, I remember Rajeep and I were discussing on commenting actually on I think it was our last video we did. Or one of the videos we did, Rajeep was commenting and we were talking that way. Yeah, I would keep the investments. Honestly, I think you're on Kensington. Yeah, Kensington Avenue. That's right. What are we going to do? I mean, I would keep them there. If are they being used, then great. Do nothing. If they're not rented out, let's get them rented. Or let's get them rented. And if you wanted to try to sell them, I mean, I'd be delighted to help, of course. Is this a great time to sell? Absolutely, yes. Time of year, time in place and time, and certainly the location. I mean, there's stuff selling in that area all the time, especially if it's on Kensington Avenue. So whatever you'd like to do with it, but I would definitely get them filled, get you some cash flow if that's coming in or not. Got another question here. Oh, yes. Okay. DTH. Yeah. Well, thank you for coming. They are Honestly, I've only done 2 in the time that we've had the channel, which has been a few years now, 3, 4 years. I I've done them the last 2 weeks. How often? We do post it on our channel. Please subscribe and you'll get a notification, and then you can actually set yourself a reminder. I don't want to say it, excuse me, every single week, because I can't commit to that now, but as often as you'd like, honestly, I mean, to be, with all due respect, I would like to commit to at least once a month. Now I've done 2 in a row here, and I know I cannot do next week, but so I'm trying to answer your question as honestly as I can. And they are recorded and published. Absolutely, yes. And if you wanted a video or even to have a Zoom discussion about something, I'd be delighted to do that. We don't have to put it live or record it either, but I could do a video on any topic, and I am going to be doing an investment series, like I mentioned, hint, hint, wink, wink, over the next few weeks. So as often as we possibly can, and as often as people want, want them to be. And if you get good value of it, we want to do it. Oh, great. Yes, we have met. Pleasure. Oh, yeah. We should do that again. We should go out and let's meet over lunch. Let's meet over one of my favorite things to do, eat. Let's meet and eat, and have a meet and greet and eat. Or a couple of drinks. Why not? We could even drink tea too. So I'm good with that. So hopefully I touched on the fix and flip. I do have one more topic I want to cover, and I do have a few minutes left here, and I'd love to get all your questions answered as well. So I talked about fix and flips, I hope enough. If not, I'd be happy to do a video on any topic you folks would be interested in, that I have knowledge on. And if I don't, I'll go find out for you. Believe me, I will. So the last heading I have of one of the most popular questions we get is about foreclosures and REOs and short sales. So it kind of ties into what I said before. I mean, I have access to those on the MLS. There are a ton of them, and I pay for that, so you don't have to. So you just ask me, I'll get you on the list. It's not a problem. Now, are you going to see every single foreclosure, every single REO, and every single short sale? No, I wish. I can say a lot of, and I do need a drink of water. Forgive me one moment while I reach for that. I have my jug of water. I did bring it to be prepared this time. I will say there are a section of Zillow and Trulia and some of the bigger sites that have an REO or a foreclosure. Take Zillow, and no offense, Zillow. And if you're watching, love you, hate you, Zillow. No, just kidding. But Zillow's foreclosure section is a computer pulling data. So if foreclosure paperwork was filed, it's going to show up on Zillow. So that's a great resource for you to send a letter, knock on the door. Doesn't mean it's going to go to foreclosure or is currently in foreclosure, or we could go make an offer. But boots on the street, free, hint, hint, Zillow is free, by the way. I'm not sending you to Zillow. You should come to me. But they've got a ton of foreclosure listings on there that is not on the MLS, because it's the computer pointing out that paperwork was filed. Does not necessarily mean it's actually for sale. And more often than not, those don't go to foreclosure because people get behind on payments or made a mistake or what have you. But there are some great sites that I mentioned. I did mention before, Hubzu and auction.com. Now there are a slew of others that are decent, and many that aren't good. And I say aren't good because they're costly for the same information you can get for free. Now, if you just wanted to pay and have it sent to you, that's fine. I can suggest some to you if you want to send me an email. I'll put my email in there again, just my name at Gmail. Oh, yes. Thank you, Rajeep. I'd be delighted to work with you. Absolutely. I know like I said, we were talking about your the Kensington project, the Kensington properties, and what projects we can do. Thanks for saying so. Be happy to be a part of your team and be a resource for you. Lunch is on you. Even better. You're hired. Now you're talking my language. That's good. Hey, if lunch is on you, then dinner's on me. That's great. I love that. It's perfect. And yeah, I mean, absolutely, Philadelphia is an excellent city to invest in um, for return on your money. Um, we have a ton of investors from all over the world coming to Philadelphia because of it's a major metropolitan and the pricing is phenomenal. Even Center City and even Old City and like where it's super expensive, let's say, great spot to invest. I mean, you really can't go wrong. Again, if the numbers work, the numbers fit. Doesn't matter how much it is. It matters how much am I going to make or how can I afford it. Short sale lists can be given and gotten from the banks themselves. There are some short sale specialists. We are a short sale specialist as well. Um, and there's no hidden trick. It's pay for the data or call the banks directly, and they'll give you that information as well. So foreclosures, REOs, real estate owned, and short sales. Now, a lot of these are packaged up and then resold. A lot of them are bought before we even see them, and these are from big money. But I'd say all of them. A lot of them are. Some of them are. And loans that are notice of default (NOD). There's a whole section of information where we can get those for you as well. That we do have that I can, I'll direct you to where you can pay for this information. You don't have to necessarily go through me, but you should. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Let's see here. Oh, I got another question. Ugliest house in the best neighborhood. I love it. Yes. That's perfect. Yeah, you definitely don't want the nicest house in the nicest neighborhood scenario, but the ugliest house in the best neighborhood, no doubt. I also really like grandma's house. No offense to grandma or grandpa, but you got grandma's house, super dated. Everything is really functional, right? The heater works good, the roof doesn't leak, but the bathroom is maybe from 1980. That's the great investment, in my opinion. Needs some cosmetic work. It's turnkey in a sense. It's just it's painting, flooring, carpeting. It's modernization. Those are my favorite kind of properties. How do you get them? You could pull data on Zillow, but you could also pay for data where you want to find again a list of foreclosures, or REOs or short sales. You could pull data with based on the amount of equity somebody has. So, and the data is there's tons of places you could go. There are two that I like to use. Data Zip, Data Zap with two P's. And if you want to shoot me a text or you can call it, whatever, I'll get you the exact link. I like them. They're very. I just like their service. And then there's larger firms that do Forewarn is one it's called, and of course there's CoreLogic. They're probably the biggest in the area. And I don't get anything for these companies if you use them, and darn it, they should. No, no, I'm happy to give the info out. So, I excuse me, I'm going to wrap up here in a few minutes, but I do want to kind of give some last pointers or last tips. Last several points of information is get started. Get your real estate license. Go shadow a realtor. Call me. I mean, get people that are willing to give information. Go on YouTube now. Be careful of some of the information you find. I'm not picking on YouTube. I'm just saying, just be careful of some of the information you find. Do your fact checking. Okay, so if you hear it from 3 or 4 sources, it's probably good information, but cheap information. So after you exhaust free information, go take a free course, sit through the webinars, sit through seminars. Like I said, get started. Go on Zillow and call up people that are selling their house. Just talk to them. Get in it to win it. There's books at your library. There's books I can certainly suggest, but get started is my point. That's free. So what's cheap? Cheap information, any cheap course, buy some books. You can buy audiobooks. You can listen in your car. I'm under the free category. You could certainly call. We could talk. Call other agents. Call agents that have the listings. They have to talk to you if they want to sell the property, right? Ask them about it. Ask them about the neighborhood. Ask them about the ROI. Just get started. And if you're If you're, on the one end of the scale where you have lots of cash and great credit and you're ready to invest, awesome, let's go. If you're on the opposite end of that, where you have $0, you owe a lot of money, and you have terrible credit, you can be an investor too. There's a thing called wholesaling, and there's a thing called bird dogging or bird watching. Is it bird dog, I think? So you find a great deal, you're going to make money. And I can help you with how to do that. I'd be glad to show you how to do it. My pleasure. Yep, Jim, absolutely. Thank you for coming. And I am going to end this here. 2025 Kensington Ave. What do I think? I'll check it out. Let me just, while I'm here, I had the map open. Let me just look, and then I could run some actual numbers here for you. I could do the homework on it to properly 2025 Kensington. It's Kensington Ave. Yep. Let me just see what it looks like here. I'm just looking on a Google map right now. You are not far from, you're not far from Hunter Elementary School. That's cool. You're right near the elementary. Yeah, it kind of looks like it's not, I don't know if it's not a building. Maybe I wrote it down wrong. Yeah, I mean, that's a great a block because, or a great location on that block. It's Front Street beginning there or ending, however you want to look at it. You also got York and York and Boston coming in from each of the other sides. So it's a great spot. I mean, a great location, excellent location. As I'm going back to my to the live stream, sorry. As far as value, if that's something you want me to do, I certainly could look into it. There's no cost to get a valuation on it. I would have to come and see it, but I don't even have to see it to kind of give you some market data at all there. And yep, my pleasure, no doubt. 2,900 as well. Sorry, I'm getting another message. That's my alarm that says you talk too long. Let me just look at this next one for you. Absolutely. 2927. Here we go. Whoops. Yep. Oh, 1 minute. 1 second. Oops. Sorry. Fat fingers. Yeah, I mean, that's all the way. I mean, from where that was. I like the location. You're definitely in the heart here. Of say Kensington, let's say, but yeah, looks like is it a is that a residential home, or maybe it looks like you have a commercial piece right on the bottom. Yeah, it's right near the L train, or the L as well. So great location, super spot. If you're anywhere near that L, it's pretty good. Now I think nearby is, if I'm not mistaken, there's I'd have to investigate this a little bit. I don't want to keep umming and eyeing, but I can look into it for you if you wanted. Yeah, sure. Call me. That'd be great. We'll schedule a call and I could have some data run for you. But anyway, well, I hope everybody enjoyed the show. The live stream. If you did, hit the comment, hit the like. And while you're liking and commenting, hit subscribe. It does help the channel. If you're looking for us to do a video or a vlog tour of somewhere, let me know. I'd be delighted to do it. We wish you a great day, everybody. Thanks to our friends from Media Zeus, our friends from North Star Mortgage, our friends from the Gregory Martyr team, Integrity, brokered by Springer Realty Group. I'm going to sign off now, and I hope you all have a great day. Thank you for watching, and appreciate you supporting the channel. Have a great day, everybody. Take care.